Caller number one, we've got a caller on the line here for the Film Dogs. Could you state your name for me, please?
Hi, my name's Mary Beth Sue.
Hey, Mary Beth Sue. Thanks for calling the Film Dogs. What would you like to talk about today?
I'd like to talk about why Christopher Nolan gets all of these Oscars. I don't believe he's that great of a film director.
Well,
he
that's
certainly is. He's not as good as Mr. David Lynch, who never got an Oscar for Best Director because he didn't need it, did he?
It was Mary. Was it Mary Lou? Sorry, what was your name?
Mary Sue.
Mary
Beth,
Sue.
Sir.
Sorry. Mary Sue. You sound a lot like our co-host Lord Marcus.
I do not know who this Lord Marcus is, and in fact, I'm offended. I'm offended that you say such a thing, sir.
That sounds even more like Lord Marcus.
Sir. I say good day, sir.
Welcome to the Film Dogs. Lord Marcus, thanks for calling.
Thanks for picking up.
I just was watching an interview with one said Christopher Nolan. Do you know who he was interviewing?
Denis?
No, he was interviewing the director that we would like to spend a week with today.
Oh.
Sir Ridley Scott.
Sir Ridley Scott, I'll ask this question. Do you think, this is trivia.
Yeah.
Is Ridley Scott the only knighted living director of film?
I'm going to say no.
Well, tell me who the other one is then.
I'm going to say you're cutting out. What was that?
Was this Top Gun Maverick?
Did Alec Guinness make any movies? Did he direct any movies? He's a sewer.
I said living by the way.
Okay. Who else is a sewer?
No,
did Daniel Craig make any movies? He got knighted, right?
No, he's not made it. He's not
knighted.
He's not a film director.
Well,
it's not Sir Daniel Craig.
Well, but some people, even though they're knighted, don't go by Sir. You know, kind of like how Meghan Markle and the Prince no longer go by their titles.
But yeah, because they denounce them.
I know.
All knights go by Sir.
Some directors denounce their accolades.
Yeah, well, okay. So if you were knighted, you wouldn't go around saying, by the way, that's Sir B?
No, I'm not one of those guys that would get my doctorates in film school and then be like, sorry, that's Sir Mr. B. Well, I mean, would you, if you went to school and got your doctorates, would you be, Dr. Lord Marcus?
I would, if I was a doctor, I would demand that everyone call me doctor.
You know, my,
even though I'm not a doctor, I might still even demand that people call me doctor.
Remember the day when, it was exciting to get mail in the mailbox because it wasn't, all, spam. My dad would sign up to things, you know, pre-internet. So you have to like fill out the card on the back of the magazine to get added to the newsletter sort of thing. And my dad would get magazines for the different kind of like kids in the family. And one of them that he would sign up to or sign me up to was a Jaguar, the car manufacturer. And one of the things my dad did, because back in the day, pre-internet, you could tell anybody anything you wanted, and unless they could prove you wrong, they didn't know any the better. So my dad, whenever he would sign up to anything, he would always put doctor on it. And even in his car, did you ever have OnStar?
No, I not in my family, but I had a company car that had OnStar.
OnStar, basically like your own assistant. And anytime he would hit the OnStar button in his car, the person would pick up on the other line and go, "Good morning, Dr. Blurry. How can I help you?" So I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to go to school, Lord Marcus, to get your title doctor.
Hey, Dr. B.
Yeah.
Could you
sir, actually, sir.
Serby, could you please, via Facebook Messenger, send me the password to our Google Drive Color of Questions? Because, as I just said, I'm logged out of everything.
Yeah.
And I've only got my phone here, and it doesn't have any saved passwords.
Yeah, I'm going to send it to you in this message that I could only hope is not hacked by the third film dog.
Oh, Sir Huxley?
Exactly. Because he doesn't have thumbs, fucker. It is sent now. And I love that we can do this while we record an episode, because people don't know, because people can't see us right now. But when I was taking a call for the podcast, I wasn't joking. We actually have Lord Marcus dialing in all the way from Tivoli, Australia, aka probably 25 minutes away from Springfield, Australia. We're Brisbane boys. And we decided to do a remote pod today. We're testing out some new tech. Mr. B, myself, I've updated some of my gear for podcasting and for Blurry Audio, my podcasting business.
Brought to you by Blurry Audio. We do the best podcasting in the entire universe.
If not, we'll fight you.
I dare you to challenge us. And by us, I do mean Sir B, but I'm his bodyguard. So you fuck with him, you fuck with me.
That's true. And this podcast is brought to you by Lord Marcus and Blurry Audio. Since the beginning of time, has been co-produced and then just mixed and edited by myself. So this is kind of a trial run with some new equipment, taking in phone calls from remote locations. And so far, it sounds pretty schmick there. Lord Marcus, did you get into your Google Drive so we can talk about Ridley Scott for all of our fans? My mom and your mom. Does your mom listen to our podcast?
I think she's listened to it once or twice, but I think that
she
the
stopped
level
listening
of
when you said the F word, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
you guessed it.
Could you answer the trivia question that I didn't know the answer to?
No, I also don't know the answer.
Oh, you jerk!
I was just putting you on the
spot. That's even better than I thought. Okay, take us back to the matter at hand of Sir Ridley Scott.
Hey, while I was doing a little research on Mr. Scott, I found some interesting bits of trivia, and I'll sprinkle them all over the course of the episode rather than just leading off with it.
Yeah.
But something I found rather inspiring, Lord B.
Yeah.
Is that...
Doctor.
It'll be whatever I say it is.
I'll keep changing it to Doctor and Sir throughout the episode.
It's Sir, it's Lord, it's Mrs. Princess. How old do you think that Ridley Scott was when he directed his first film, The Duelists, in 1977?
In 77? Okay. Okay. Let's see. So,
you don't have to try to do the math.
No, I'm gonna say he was 45.
No, he was 39. But I think
that's not bad, right?
No, well, you had a good guess. But here's what I have to say is that for aspiring creative types, or you've not figured out where you're at in life, or you think that things are unattainable.
Yeah.
Like at 39 years old, where you still have a couple of years to go before you hit that mark, like if you made a switch, you could be the next Ridley Scott. You could be the next knighted director, the next knighted living director.
Yeah,
I find stories like that really amazing. Like George Miller was a doctor before he became a movie.
Who I was going to say. I mean, we've talked about him before on the podcast, but famously swapping careers to make movies. Yeah, the greatest days aren't necessarily behind you.
That's exactly right. Like, look, and while we get into, so one of the reasons that we're doing the week series, well, there's several reasons. I would say I'll lead out with that we're huge fans of Letterboxd. And when we look at reels, and they're all over the place on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, it's like, what's your Letterboxd 4 favorites? What's your Letterboxd 4 favorites? Now, it is pretty interesting to commit to 4. but
Oh, totally.
it's impossible to really express the dynamic range of everything that you like with just 4. Now, with a lot of film-related social media or influencer or news or journalism or conversationalists, like top 10, not even just this space, but almost in any space, like top 10, top 10, top 10. Everything is a bloody top 10, like all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes top 10 feels a little like it's got some fat on it. So to sort of split that difference, we get to 7. And what are some other things that have 7? A week has 7 days. So I thought that to spend a week with something isn't asking too much for someone that's an enthusiast and trying to become a cinephile or trying to learn or trying to make time to say, okay, if you have a watch list that's 550 long, how are you going to tackle that? Like sometimes you just have to make a commitment. And I feel like making a week commitment and spending one night each week with Ridley Scott, or let's say if we're doing Matt Dillon or anything, it's a good way. First off, we don't have to talk about a top 10. No. We get a little bit more than a top 4. We can totally control the format. But within this week series, it's like if all you have in your life over the course of a year is a commitment of 7 days, like that's pretty good for like being an enthusiast that wants to knock out the watch list and get it done. So hence the genesis of the week series. And so as you mentioned, we've chosen Sir Ridley Scott as our our second subject, because we did one on Brad Pitt,
which will be coming out shortly in early December when the movie F1 is out for full streaming.
Ew, yeah. Boom. We're going to be talking about F1 again on the next episode, which, by the way, just as a preview for the next episode, we will be recapping our anticipation draft. We've not decided yet if we're going to recap the anticipation draft from 24 and 25, but we're definitely doing 25.
Either way, it's to make Mr. B look like a jackass on his podcast.
Okay, we'll leave 24 out of it, and I'll give you the opportunity to argue of why you shouldn't be shit talked out of existence. Over your 25 draft.
Shit talked out of his own podcast. We're doing interviews for who's going to take my role in 2025. He's been fired. He's just gone back to mixing and editing the podcast, but somebody else who can actually pick good movies. I mean, I own La La Land, though.
Oh yeah. Well, I was hoping to propose some trades to. I was hoping to propose some trades that would relieve you of your good films. So, like, I'll trade one good film for 5 of your good films.
You know, the beautiful thing about calling into this podcast is, for lighting in the studio, I can actually have my my curtains drawn, and I can look out at the wonderful White Rock Reserve across from my house instead of having it closed to make it perfect lighting.
I can see a bunch of shitty traffic driven by shitty people on a shitty road.
But yeah, I haven't heard heard any police cars yet.
Puts me in the right mood, I tell you.
Yeah, of course. Sky
Sir Ridley Scott.
rockets in flight. Sir Ridley Scott, Afternoon Delight.
What I would propose for this episode is we would like to pick 7 films by Ridley Scott that we feel is best representative of his work, not necessarily ranking, but 7 films that we want to recommend. And I'm not entirely convinced that my 7 would be the same as your 7. So I thought that maybe we would just go through the list of his movies. And I haven't seen all of his movies, and I will never see all of. He's got a couple of movies that I doubt that I will ever watch for any reason. And we'll get more into that as we go through some of these. But he has made a handful of the best films that have ever been made. So how about we will, I'll just read out in chronological order the films that he's released. And we will say whether or not we want to consider it or not consider it for the top 7. Yeah. And go from there. Sound good?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. His very first film in 1977, The Duelists. I've not seen this film.
I gotta be honest, neither have I. It is in my watch list, as it should be, because we're doing a podcast episode on him. But this isn't the big picture. This is the film dog. So
that's right. We don't
fuck off.
Yeah, we do as we please.
His first film. Do you want to? Are we going to include it blind? No.
No. Absolutely no way. Hey, you know, he's and some films aren't going to make it just because they're not good. And we can only have 7 films, so I don't really feel like it's that big of a smack in Sir Scott's face that we haven't seen The Duelists.
Yeah.
Plus, it's hard. It's hard to watch in Australia. I don't know if it's hard to watch in America or England or Russia or Cameroon, but in Australia, it's difficult to watch.
Yeah.
Okay, 1979, the sci-fi horror classic Alien.
It definitely included.
That is 100 billion% in the top 7.
Yeah, and
to feature in a week.
Incredible to be your second film that you created.
Oh my goodness. Now, I would propose, I don't want to do a deep dive into any of these films.
No, that's not what this is about.
This is, Alien is the beginning of one of the most enduring franchises in film history. And I'm not sure that I would even say that it's Ridley Scott's best Alien movie, but I think that the general consensus is that it is. I would propose that we're obviously going to get to his other 2 Alien movies, that the Alien will serve as a stand-in for all 3 of his Alien movies. And we'll talk more about those as we come along. I would like to talk about Prometheus and Covenant, but let's say for now that Alien is the birth of the franchise, and it's kind of like the Fellowship of the Ring in the sense that it started one man's vision of a story and gave life to something that is greater than the sum of its parts.
It's a haunted house in space.
Yeah, well, it's creepy. It's scary.
It's space horror.
By today's standards, some people might not find it that scary, particularly if they've watched, let's say, like Alien Romulus. They might have a good idea of what's like to get back to 1979 and what like this kind of slow burn. But I think that people that love The Shining or Texas Chainsaw Massacre, even that are already soaking in that vibe of what 70s film culture was like, then you would understand that it's all about the suspense and the building of tension, and certainly some of the great acting in any horror movie ever. What a cast. Okay, Aliens included, and for the now, we're going to say that we'll cover blanketly the Alien Prometheus and Alien Covenant as well. Next up, his third film, his follow-up to Alien. In my opinion, one of the greatest films that has ever been made. One of the greatest sci-fi, if it's not in the conversation of top number 1, certainly top 2 science fiction movies of all time. Blade Runner.
You definitely included.
Daggone. This is... I cannot say enough about this film, and we've talked about it many times. We've talked about it on a draft. When I totally misjudged what kind of films you were going for, I waited. I picked Monty Python and the Holy Grail instead of Blade Runner. Yeah. And hindsight's a bitch, but because I definitely would have gone back. It was going to be my number 2 pick. For some reason, I thought that you were more interested in the Holy Grail. And I don't know why. It was stupid, because we hardly ever talk about the Holy Grail. So I don't know. I didn't think you were that high on Blade Runner that you would take it number 2. And bad mistake on my part, because my team is deprived of honestly, I just think this is one of the greatest films ever made, ever. It's just one of Harrison Ford's greatest roles, one of Ridley Scott's greatest roles. There's all of these bloody daggone versions of it out there, and a lot of people hate the narrated version, but I will always get I'll take the opportunity when given to say how much I love the narrated version. I don't understand what the problem is. Now here's the thing. I also, when I saw this movie, I'm pretty sure I saw this movie opening night with my dad and some of his friends, and that's the version that I grew up with, the narrated version. So I would have been bloody eight years old seeing Blade Runner in the theater. It's formative. I grew up with a narrated version. I want the narrated version. It gives so much insight to what's going on that you would have, dude, it'd be impossible to figure some of these things out that are going on in the story without the narration. To give that much of a backstory without having to, there's no books that are definitive about what's going on. There's nothing happens in Blade Runner 2049 that gives anything about what's going on.
Yeah.
Like the narration tells you half of the bloody story. I don't understand what people's problems with it are, but either way, that's the version that I prefer.
Yeah.
All right. That's what I have to say about Blade Runner. And congratulations on probably your absolute best draft pick that you made, because that was awesome.
It is awesome, and I'm glad that I own it. I do like the Holy Grail, but it's hard to compare them because they're nowhere near the same genre, but both incredible films.
Yeah, well, I clearly, if you wanted to trade one for the other, it wouldn't even need to be thought about for a second.
Well, at least now I own a film that's like a noir plot full of existential dread and memories.
Oh, that's the question.
Memories, identity, and what it counts as being real.
I think it just, man, I could talk about Blade Runner for hours, but let's not take those hours here.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to the next film, Legend, starring Tom Cruise. I admit I've not seen it.
I have not seen it for a very long time. Actually, not from 1985. No, I don't actually know if I've seen it. So, no, it's not included.
Okay. Well, we can't do a week with Tom Cruise until we've seen that one. So,
we're doing a week with Ridley Scott and not doing this one.
But this will be like, this is our first strike. We'll have if we miss it on a week with Tom Cruise, then we've got 2 strikes against us. It's one of the few Tom Cruise movies that I haven't seen.
Yeah.
One of the reasons being is that I definitely haven't seen it is that, okay, so it comes out in 1985. It was at the time that I still required a parental chaperone to go to the movies. And by the time it was released on video cassette, I was playing basketball and listening to Beastie Boys, and movies just weren't my thing. So it was just sort of as I was shifting sort of more into a social life out of movie watching, it was just one of those movies that fell into that area. And again, it's pretty difficult to watch. Like I did attempt to watch that since we decided we were going to do this episode.
Yeah.
So everything that I currently haven't watched, it's just because it's not. It's only because it's not available in Australia to stream, and I don't do physical media. So now, 1987, Someone to Watch Over Me. Also have not seen that one.
This would have been one that would have showed up on, let's call it a weekend or later night TNT syndication. So I have memories of it and the title and even the plot. About a murder in a New York City nightclub. But I wouldn't have seen this since like childhood. And if it was, it would just be on syndication, which would have been heavily edited. But not something that I really, when I think of Ridley Scott, do I think about this film.
Right on. Okay, so next up, 1989's Black Rain. Now, I don't have this listed as watched on Letterboxd, and for a reason, but I have seen it. It was one of the first movies playing. So my first job in life was working at a movie theater.
Yeah.
And Black Rain was one of the films that was playing. And I did see it, but I was not really in tune with what the heck it was. Because I wanted Blade Runner.
Yep.
And so once I started watching it, like it was just totally not my thing at all. Like I watched the whole thing, but I wasn't into it, and I've left it off of my Letterboxd watch so that when it comes up, I will literally kind of be watching it with fresh eyes.
Yeah,
and I have a handful of those types of films, but I couldn't really tell you much about it except that at the time it didn't move me. So it's probably not fair for me completely to say that it's not good enough to make the top 7, but I don't know enough about it to really say. I think it's worth being on our week with Ridley Scott.
Yeah, and even to reiterate that this is not a top 7 This is us trying to give you a snapshot of what we think paints a picture of who Ridley Scott is as a director in films that he's made. A lot of them are going to be popular and seen because he's such a gigantic, famous director. But this is our take on going, if you only could choose 7 films to watch of his to really give you a feeling that you know this guy, here's some options to watch. What's the next one?
So next one for me is a shoe-in. Thelma and Louise. Now, here's what I would say about Thelma and Louise, is that I just did a recent rewatch of Do the Right Thing, which is amazing. Oh my God, it is so good. And I was thinking that Thelma and Louise actually, it might not make too much sense to a lot of people, but it makes perfect sense to me that the perfect double feature to Do the Right Thing is Thelma and Louise. And I think that because we're at this time in America that Thelma and Louise is 91, Do the Right Thing was 1989, but you start seeing this filmmaker's desire to wrestle control away from the white man. I know we're talking about Ridley Scott, but even Ridley Scott decides to make a movie that is about women empowerment and is extremely feminist and in such a positive way that and they aren't doing what white men tell them to do, and they're not acting the way that husbands tell them to act. It really promotes the sense of female independence and female friendship and female closeness. So one thing that I wish that we would have done was give a little bit more of a synopsis on some of these films, but I kind of assumed that Blade Runner and Alien are so well known and we can cover these things. But with Thelma and Louise, I'd like to, at least for people that that might not be comfortable, or like because it's an older movie for younger audiences that don't understand. It's like, oh, this Thelma and Louise, what's this? I'd like to just at least read the Letterboxd synopsis. So Thelma and Louise, taking a break from their dreary lives, close friends Thelma and Louise embark on a short weekend trip that ends in unforeseen, incriminating circumstances. As fugitives, both women rediscover the strength of their bond and their newfound resilience. This was Brad Pitt's like really first major appearance on screen, by the way.
Yeah.
It has one of the best endings in cinematic history. My goodness. But I celebrate this film for how it, on screen by a director as renowned as Sir Scott, to celebrate the power of women, and that it's not a white man's world, much in the way that Do the Right Thing sort of did that as well. So you start seeing this plethora of American films coming in that all of a sudden women aren't just victims that allow men to be heroes. Black men aren't just there as the token black guys to be the best friend in the universe. And I feel that they really go together quite well. And I think for that reason, not only is it just a fantastic movie, but it sees Sir Ridley sort of stepping out of that comfort zone of doing really good work in a genre other than the sort of sci-fi horror. Even though he had been doing films other than that prior, I think this is the first where he really connected and had a major home run that wasn't sci-fi.
Yeah. Yeah. And
right.
Iconic ending, not necessarily. I was told when writing it and everything, shopping around to studios, they did not like the ending.
Oh, of course they did.
They finally got it sold, and it is at least.
It would not be as good with a different ending. It just would not.
But
the ending makes
it's his ending, and it backs the woman making their final active decision rather than the surrender.
Well, Bonnie and Clyde did the same thing,
Yeah.
So daggone. All right, let's move on to the next film in Sir Scott's long and storied history of films. 1492. I admit that I've not seen it.
Interesting. I thought maybe you would have seen it.
Conquest of Paradise. I was in Marine Corps boot camp when this was released, and shortly followed by infantry training, and shortly therefore followed by weapons training and aircraft weapons training. So for like an entire year, I missed out on seeing movies in the cinema, and this was one of them. And I've never been a big physical media guy, so didn't really have the opportunity to see this. And I think that my taste is solid enough that at least I know what my taste is enough to know that I don't have a huge interest in seeing this one, unless someone tells me that it's awesome as shit and that I should see it.
Yeah.
Which I have not heard anyone do. I'm sure somebody's got his lovers.
It hovers around a lot of his films where watchable, but not stand out. The standard 3-star. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gerard Depardieu. Sigourney Weaver again.
I saw a couple of his films that I didn't mind, but overall, he's not a draw for me. I've liked some of the films that I've seen him in, but let's move on to 1996's White Squall. I did see this, and I enjoyed it.
You did enjoy it?
I would not say that I would include it in the top 7.
Okay.
But
not even for Jeff Bridges?
Not even for Jeff Bridges. Although, it would not make if we did a week with Jeff Bridges, this film would also not make that. But look, I think that it's I gave it 3.5 stars, and in my rating systems, 3.5 is good and recommended.
Yeah.
The acting's not fantastic all the way around, but it's the acting is not bad. Maybe Jeremy Sisto was a little bad. And maybe Ryan Philippe was a little bad, and maybe Scott Wolf was a little bad.
Well, it is. It's a young cast.
Yeah, that were getting their feet wet, and but overall, and it's a true story, and I think that it says a lot. And let's say, okay, so I was in the Marine Corps, and I'm about discipline and order and organization, and how do you get that if you don't join the military, if you're not exposed to that? And this is great, I guess, for young kids that can afford it, to go out and learn how to, work a ship as a team and learn teamwork. I think the message behind it is really good. It's an interesting story. I would put it in sort of as mid-tier of his films, but I definitely recommend it. But not for, if all you have is 7 days to give to Ridley, I would not be including White Squall. But if you got 14 days to give to Ridley, I'd include White Squall.
Okay. Yeah. That's saying something. Were you around sailing at all growing up in any way?
Not really, no. I've been on sailboats, but not enough that I would know what the heck's going on if I had to do it on my own. Hey, look, the synopsis for White Squall: in 1960, a hardy group of prep school students boards an old-fashioned sailing ship with Captain Christopher Sheldon at the helm. The ocean-going voyage is intended to teach the boys fortitude and discipline, but the youthful crew are about to get some unexpected instruction in survival when they get caught in the clutches of a white squall storm.
Yeah.
Hey, this would double feature well with a Dead Poet Society, where you've got a bit of a coming of age story where it's not just a lot of coming of age stories would be a girl and a boy falling in love for the first time and then realizing that they're going to sacrifice love for their dreams or vice versa. This is more like a group of young men learning how to work and function in a team-oriented environment. And again, about fortitude and discipline. I enjoy it. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, I think you would like it. It'd be a good movie for you and Duke to watch later down the road. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Growing up on Lake Michigan, same thing, around boats. I didn't take sailing lessons, but I did have friends that took them because you didn't need a large boat to learn how to sail. And in some of the schools actually would provide, you could take lessons and stuff for part of your schooling.
Right on. Well, shall we move on to 1997's G.I. Jane?
Demi Moore, Viggo Mortensen.
Have you seen G.I. Jane?
I have. It's been quite a while, but it was a very big syndication film that was just always on TV, like TBS, TNT sort of thing.
I feel like this has sort of been forgotten to time.
Well, you would probably say a lot of the 90s classics that were always on TV, I think, have been forgotten to time with streaming.
Well, I guess it gives a little bit of perspective, but like, what would draw a young viewer to see G.I. Jane? Because Demi Moore, until The Substance, if you said Demi Moore's name, I would say Gen X would know it, and maybe a millennial, but I doubt that young people even know who Demi Moore is prior to The Substance. So I don't think there's a big draw there.
Mm.
Hey, look at the synopsis. In response to political pressure from Senator Lillian DeHaven, the U.S. Navy begins a program that would allow for the eventual integration of women into its combat services. The program begins with a single trial candidate, Lieutenant Jordan O'Neill, played by Demi Moore, who is chosen specifically for her femininity. O'Neill enters the grueling Navy SEAL training program under the command of Master Chief John James Ergale, who unfairly pushes O'Neill until her determination wins his respect.
Yeah, and we grab our descriptions and synapses from Letterboxd, which is an app you should have to figure out
Use
what you should be
Letterboxd.
watching.
You should be logging all of your films and your children's films and your mom's films. Log films.
And your stepmom's films. Maybe not
or
those ones.
Or your pimp's films.
Yeah. We love Letterboxd.
Hey, like I remember seeing this in the movies. I was still in the Marine Corps. Like we all went and saw this because Demi Moore was like our Margot Robbie.
Totally.
And then nowadays, like we would go to the theater just to drool over Demi Moore. And so she shaved her head for the role.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I thought she was hot with her shaved head. Man, goodness.
Well,
she still is.
what's a Marine's take on G.I. Jane? Going to it with other Marines.
It's a good buddy movie, but like the Marine Corps is under the Department of the Navy, so if it had been about the Army, we would have just shit talked it. Probably would have seen it.
Yeah,
but it being like Navy SEALs, we're like, we could kind of okay. It wasn't. It didn't feel realistic in the same way that like Full Metal Jacket felt realistic. It felt more like that Cuba Gooding Jr. and Robert De Niro movie, Men of Honor. It felt more like that, where it was like you could tell that everything was dramatized and they were trying to make a point, as opposed to being something that was like really grounded in reality. And I don't mean by saying that like Demi Moore could never have made it as a Navy SEAL. I know some tough women that could easily outschool half of the men that become Navy SEAls. It has nothing to do with that. Like the narrative wasn't really grounded in a lot of reality, which is okay because it's for entertainment. And I think that was the large takeaway. Like we enjoyed it, but I don't think it made anyone, like we weren't talking about it for months and months and months afterwards, which we certainly had movies throughout. Like everybody's still talking about Pulp Fiction to this day. And so like in the Marine Corps, like when everybody went to see Pulp Fiction, like we're still talking about it. We saw G.I. Jane and we're talking about it for a couple of days and then we never talk about it again. Kind of forgotten. A bit of a forgettable overall, but again, it's not a horrible movie. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Another standard 3-star 90s film.
Okay. Now we come to year 2000's Gladiator.
Yeah. Well,
what's your take on Gladiator?
Gladiator
Dr.
would 100% be included in a week with Sir Ridley Scott. It's a film that probably reminded Hollywood that it grew up on historical epics.
So you want to include that in the top 7?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay. That's I'm going to mark this as protest compromise.
I mean, just his kind of how he likes to do world building and set design and set building, using real tigers as well, at least in this one. Russell Crowe mainly, Ridley not worried about dialogue because Russell is quite particular on it. It kind of gave him free reign of his words and scripting. Yeah, I think it's an iconic film. It's an iconic man film. So if you were doing a podcast episode about man films, this would be on the list. Or coming of age. You're same thing. Teenage boy.
Speak for yourself.
Well,
I wouldn't put this in any goddamn coming of age story.
Well, that's why we're the film dogs. We've got
or a man story. Synopsis: after the death of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, Lord Emperor Marcus Aurelius, his devious son, played by Joaquin Phoenix, takes power and demotes Maximus, one of Rome's most capable generals, who Marcus preferred. Eventually, Maximus is forced to become a gladiator and battle to the death against other men for the amusement of paying audiences. Won Mr. Scott some Academy Awards.
Yeah. I mean, Oliver Reed died during the production of the film. He needed to use doubles and CGI, early CGI, to complete Proximo's scenes.
Hey, because we are because this is not a Lord Marcus podcast, and it's the Film Dogs podcast, I just want to note that we will include this in the top 7, although it would not be in my top 7. Or not top. I would not choose this film as representative of. I wouldn't have chosen this for the week with Ridley Scott. But with that said, I just want to point that out so that everyone, first off, understands that I like to play fairly, and I like to include Dr. B's opinion into everything, whether I agree with it or not.
Like I said, I'm going to keep changing between Sir and Doctor throughout the episode.
Sith Lord B.
Unlimited power.
We've got Gladiator included in the top 7. All right. Next up, we've got the sequel to Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal. Have you seen Hannibal? Have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
Oh, I've definitely seen Silence of the Lambs. Hello, Clarice.
Hannibal.
You can quite often, I'm not sure if I would say monthly, but I would probably say quarterly, use the phrase, "It rubs the lotion on the skin or it gets the hose again, precious."
Yeah, look,
I do use that line.
It's got some iconic lines. Saying that to your neighbor that you got locked up in the back room.
Or if you use a lot of hand lotion and have a small dog.
Ew. Okay, so Hannibal, after having successfully eluded the authorities for years, Hannibal peacefully lives in Italy in disguise as an art scholar. Trouble strikes again when he's discovered leaving a deserving few dead in the process. He returns to America to make contact with now disgraced Agent Clarice Starling, who is suffering the wrath of a malicious FBI rival, as well as the media.
I mean, interesting cast. Yeah.
My first thoughts about Hannibal is that, okay, I did not love Silence of the Lambs as much as the rest of the world. Like, I thought it was really good, but for all of the awards and all the attention and it's it's sort of sticking around in relevance. I love Jodie Foster in it. I love the role. Like it is an iconic movie. I just don't think that, like, if the average was 5, if it was regularly given an average of 5 stars, I'd give it 4.5. If it was regularly, like, I think I'm about a half star below in appreciation of everybody else, but only a half star.
Yeah.
I just don't worship and celebrate it as much as everybody else does. With that said, with Hannibal, I don't think that it lives up to the reputation of the first one. And they recast Jodie Foster for Julianne Moore. And I loved don't get that. I love Julianne Moore. Holy shit, I love Julianne Moore.
Yeah.
But I hate recasting. I hate recasting so much. It's one of the reasons I hate The Dark Knight. It's like I just hate it. Like, if you can't write the character out of the fucking script, if you can't get your original fucking character in there, holy shit. Unless you're doing a prequel and you've got to find someone that looks like it for the age wise, but for modern movies, if you've got a sequel or you've got a trilogy to recast, I can't think of one instance where I have enjoyed that.
Yeah, totally.
Even if it definitely would knock off at least a half star for me in any good film.
Yeah. I didn't 100% agree on if you can't get the original cast for an iconic follow-up, then it's better to write it out.
Yeah,
because it was
do a different story.
Because she chose not to do it, and
totally.
Scheduling conflict, but also didn't like the script. So it's just like, dude, if the iconic character doesn't like the script and is saying there's a scheduling conflict and they don't want to make the film, then just you got Hannibal, you already got Anthony Hopkins. Just write the story and delete Jodie Foster's character.
Yeah, totally. And that's the thing is like, because the book featured Clarice Starling, so the book came out, some months to a year prior to the movie being released. But certainly, like Ridley would have known, or somebody would have known, or they could have just changed the character, and it could have been Clarice's sister. Man, there's so many different things they could have done. Man, it's just something of mine. I just don't enjoy that. Now, with that said, that the story wasn't bad. But it still just didn't feel as iconic. And I led off saying is like, I don't think it's as iconic as everybody else, but it didn't, like, it was still a little bit less than what the original was, even for me. And definitely not as good as the book was really good. But like Anthony Hopkins was all right, but is he evil? I've never considered Hannibal Lecter to be one of the greatest villains of all time. I think that's just a bunch of, to quote Joe Biden, malarkey. I don't know. Overall, like, I enjoy Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs, but I can't say that as IP, like all of these Hannibal Lecter things that keep coming out all the time, the show, the whatever fucking have you. It's just, it's just not for me, I don't think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would not include Hannibal in A Week with Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I'm happy to
any
not
objections?
include.
Next one for sure, though, because he had 2 movies in 2001, one of which I just drafted.
Ooh.
Black Hawk Down.
We've
already talked about this, but Black Hawk Down. Oh man, like my first exposure to Josh Hartnett. My first exposure to Eric Bana. Okay. I'd already known you, but like I was just getting into Ewan McGregor from being cast as Obi-Wan. Tom Sizemore from Natural Born Killers. Sam Shepard, who I've always loved ever since he's done Chuck Yeager and Right Stuff. Jason Isaac, Orlando Bloom, Tom Hardy. Oh my God, Hugh Dancy. Dude, like it's just like the shoot every time somebody comes on screen. It's like, oh, that person and that person and that person. But besides, the story of Black Hawk Down, when U.S. Rangers and an elite Delta Force team attempt to kidnap 2 underlings of a Somali warlord, their Black Hawk helicopters are shot down, and the Americans suffer heavy casualties, facing intense fighting from the militia on the ground.
Yep.
Now, this movie is about the Army, which normally would make it like 50%, I'm going to shit talk it out of its existence. But this is so good. It just doesn't matter. Like all the actors are so great. It's so realistic. It is not heroic. Like much like we go and see Civil War and movies like Warfare. This is like that, where it's more based on realism. Yes. It is thrilling and suspenseful, but it's not trying to make out like Americans are heroes coming in to rescue the world from big bad Somalian warlord. It's like shit's gotten fucked up and it's going to go wrong and people are going to pay a price. And we're going to feel the burden of that. And I think, oh, man, I love this movie so much.
It's another one about the horrors of war.
Totally. It's just so bloody realistic. Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, it's another one where, at least in, this is 2001, he didn't always heavily rely on CGI if he didn't have to for certain things. So it's like, it's real helicopters. Actors they did do training as well. At Fort Banning, there wasn't much CGI. I like that it's kind of shot documentarian style as well. It's just it's chaotic.
Hey, I wanted to spread some things about Ridley, so we're not just talking about his films, but sort of talking about him and like just a little bit of background. We've already said that he was 39 when he made his first film, but so Sir Ridley Scott was born in 1937. He covers a variety of genres, but like as we've talked about, like for me, like the sci-fi and the crime, I enjoy, but he does quite well and makes significant money with doing historical epics like Gladiator. He ranks among the highest grossing directors in film history, and his films have grossed over $5 billion worldwide. So like that's just to kind of show like, well, why would you choose Ridley Scott over all of these other directors? Well, not only is it because he's a great director, But it's also because he's a bit of a flawed director, and I like to talk about that as much. Like some of these films, I will probably be a little more critical of, but because he could be hit or miss, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah,
and
totally.
and also because not a lot of other people talk about him. Like anytime anybody's talking about any of these films of Ridley Scott, like these days, there's not a lot of good. Like, obviously, everybody worships at the altar of Blade Runner and Alien, but they don't talk about Ridley Scott that much.
Yeah, he
was knighted by Queen Elizabeth, and so hence therefore the Sir Ridley Scott, my man.
famously not a writer.
Yeah, and well, I don't like Martin Scorsese is also not a writer, so like I prefer like honestly like my favorite directors write their own scripts. But that doesn't mean that I've got disrespect for people that don't. I like
No, neither do I.
PTA writes his own scripts, but sometimes he'll adapt. Like he adapts things. I don't mind a good adaptation. I don't think Ridley's the best overall at at dialogue. He's nothing like bloody Quentin Tarantino or Aaron Sorkin. Anyway, so Black Hawk Down we've got included. Next up, Matchstick Men. I remember I definitely saw this in the theater, and I think I watched it again with some friends later down the road. Somebody had it on DVD. I'm not. It's not my favorite. What, you seen Matchstick Men with Nicolas Cage?
I love Matchstick Men.
Yeah.
But I don't think I love it because it's a Ridley Scott film. So it is kind of maybe an interesting side conversation on if it would be included in a week with, because you'd watch this movie and I don't think you'd think Ridley Scott at all. I think it's probably most related to a Steven Soderbergh film. If you kind of remember,
I could see that. Totally.
Just with casting and script and story and that sort of thing. Nicolas Cage, Sam Rockwell being Sam Rockwell, Nicolas Cage kind of being Nicolas Cage.
You know who's better at being Sam Rockwell than Sam Rockwell? Man, that cat is bloody. I'd love to be. Man, let's do a film dog nighting of Sam Rockwell.
Totally, dude. And side note, have you seen info about his new film at all?
No.
And if not, then we won't talk about it. But
nope, I haven't.
Yeah,
but I'll be ever since because he had that awesome as fuck monologue in the new season of White Lotus.
Yeah.
His character in that, and I've recently watched Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
Yeah,
and he is the reason to watch that film. I would say for me, he was the only reason to watch that film. But man, Sam Rockwell is something else.
Well, I was surprised you hadn't heard or anything about it, just because you tend to keep a bit up on movie news sometimes more than me. But it keeps literally showing up on my feed because it's kind of referencing a man traveling from the future to warn us about AI and I
definitely haven't heard
early 12 monkeys ish, but there's not really much to go off of, but that's kind of a few things that have been.
Well, it sounds like something you might want to keep under the wraps for our upcoming anticipation draft for 2026. Don't tell me anymore because that might be a good one.
I would yellow Matchstick Men for now, mainly because I like the conversation of could this be included as, well, did you know Ridley makes other films?
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So the story behind Matchstick Men, a phobic. Do you know what phobic means? I do. Look it up. A phobic con artist and his protege are on the verge of pulling off a lucrative. Do you know what lucrative means? I do. Look it up. Swindle when the con artist's teenage daughter arrives unexpectedly. This is definitely worth a watch for anyone that hasn't seen it. It is good.
Yeah.
As always, if required, I agree with a yellow. We'll have that on the maybe.
And like I said, if you like Steven Soderbergh movies, I don't see why you wouldn't like this movie. So that would be where my recommendation would come from if you were thinking about watching this or wondering if you should.
All right. Next one's interesting. As I said, all the ones that I hadn't seen, I've been attempting to watch over the last week. And so yesterday I finally got to tackle Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah.
I don't think you've seen Kingdom of Heaven.
Have you
seen Kingdom of Heaven? Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh. you got it logged? Maybe you didn't have a comment about it.
No, maybe I don't have it logged. No, you're right. I'm looking. I don't have it logged. Naughty. Yeah. I would have watched this when it had first come out on DVD.
Right on. Wow, so that's interesting. You and I, Sir, Doctor, Emperor, Sith Lord B. We need to spend like 6 hours going through your fucking Letterboxd, but year by year of every year of film existence.
But it makes sure they're
and
all
get
logged.
you logged up. Get you logged up.
They're pretty well logged. It's funny when I find the odd one that they aren't.
Well, this is what I find one all the time. Jesus.
Okay, well, let's do a Letterboxd day.
Okay, we'll do a Letterboxd day.
Yeah.
Well, we should do it on. We'll. You know what we'll do? We will do an episode that's sort of like whoever loses a draft has to call and reduce 10 movies of their 5-star movies. They have to change them to 4.5. And we spend an hour going through their account, making sure that everything is logged properly. And obviously, I've already done those things, and obviously, you're going to lose. So get ready for that to be your penalty. You have to have a penalty. Hey, back to Kingdom of Heaven.
Yeah.
A brief description. After his wife dies, a blacksmith named Balian is thrust into royalty, political intrigue, and bloody holy wars during the Crusades.
This will be interesting to hear you talk about this because you've not seen the director's cut.
No, I'm not seeing the director's cut. And to be honest, like we had a little bit of chatter about it. I am not motivated at all. Like I don't really see. Like, I recognize, and I went onto Reddit and I went on and looked at a couple things where everybody's like, "Oh my god, if you hated it, at least give the director's cut a chance."
Yeah.
Like, but why? Like, okay, let me ask you this: if someone said, "Hey, Lord B, do you want to see the Rise of Skywalker, the director's version?"
But
what is a director's version going to automatically turn it from a piece of whatever? I don't think you would. You'd watch the director's cut of The Last Jedi.
I still would because of the Star Wars. Yeah, the Star Wars.
Holy fuck. There's no way in the world that I would watch a director's cut of any of those pieces of shit. I wouldn't. There's no way. Absolutely no way am I watching a director's cut of any bloody... I can't even stand watching director's cut of the original trilogies or the bloody first, the prequels. Man, whatever. I don't even like, I don't like the director's cut of Blade Runner. Man, I can't even think of a director's cut that I even enjoy.
Interesting.
But with that said,
okay. Well, I mean,
I'm sure there's one or two, but man, this ain't one of them.
Well, this was,
I don't feel like I wouldn't want to suffer through this film again to see the director's cut.
Yeah.
And especially since I said, I was looking for some articles on like what the major differences were.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't seem to me like that those differences, okay, the suggestions are that the director's cut does a little bit better at establishing character motivation and that the battle scenes are more violent. Fine. But holy shit, man. Okay. First off, I hate this fucking movie. I fucking hate it. I gave it 3 stars, and that was extremely generous. I do not like this movie one single bit. Not a single thing about it that I like, except for the cinematography, which was absolutely beautiful, and that's the reason that I gave it 3 stars.
Okay,
absolutely beautiful to look at. Man, I could go through this movie and almost you could take a still shot from any scene and have something that you'd want to put on your wall. It's like so beautifully rendered. But man, I did not like Orlando Bloom in this part. I did not like Liam Neeson in this part. I did not like Eva Green in this part. I did not like Jeremy Irons. Dude, I did not like a single person in this whole fucking movie. And okay, so while we're speaking about Star Wars and The Force Awakens.
No.
Let me say this because this will exactly illustrate my fucking point. Okay? All right. So, you know, one of my problems with the, I actually like The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
But we're talking like one of my problems with that is that you have these new people adapting a new story. So they decide to kill off Han Solo. They decide to kill off Luke Skywalker. Like these aren't your characters to fucking kill off. Like this is a fan-oriented franchise. They could have done so many more things, but they failed to grasp the tone of the original films. Having a lightsaber in your film does not make it a fucking Star Wars movie. Look at Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon, which also is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Okay, in The Force Awakens, Rey can she's standing toe to toe with the most badass fucking current Sith dude in the fucking universe, obviously besides Snoke. She's standing toe to toe with him. She hasn't had any fucking training. Luke Skywalker wasn't that badass, you know, like coming out the gate. He had to go to Dagobah and get some training. Dude, there is no, it does not match the tone. The reason I bring this up is because Orlando Bloom coming out the gate is killing people left and right, surviving shipwrecks. It is so fucking far-fetched. I fucking hate it. I hate this movie. There's no way I would let it be in the top 7. No way.
Yeah, okay.
I hate it.
Yeah, okay. Because we're the film dongs, we don't need to include things where we don't. My thoughts on this would be, because of Sir Ridley and his films that he's made, this is another famously one that he's gone on record, and a lot of other reviewers would say that the director's cut is his preferred release. This is the film.
Of course he says that shit.
Yeah. And that the director's cut is what actually makes the film good. I don't know. He's just yeah.
Why does that? Does the director's cut include different Orlando Bloom scenes where he actually knows how to fucking act? Does it include does it have a more believable overall story?
Give Legolas a chance.
Jesus Christ,
lost the leg,
dude. Like, I'm not that big of an Orlando Bloom fan overall, but man, this is probably my least favorite of his performances out of everything that I've seen.
Yeah, well, it's not included. It's not included.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're not going to include it.
There,
Enough said.
Okay.
Now I'm going to bring it up again. Fucking hate it. But next up on the list, I return to Russell Crowe in the film A Good Year.
Have you seen this film?
Oh my God, yes, I enjoyed it.
I love this film.
I do too.
I'm trying to think. I assume we would have talked about this probably on your porch pre film dogs, when we would have sat in the front yard.
Yeah.
Why would we would drink a lot of wine? We would drink a lot of wine then,
yep.
And probably then talk about life and the movies that eventuated into the film dogs. But this is a film that I have seen since it was released. I own a copy of it on DVD, a digital copy, and I actually haven't watched it probably in, I'm gonna say 3, maybe 3 years at most. But I tend to watch it every 2 years.
It's a pretty, it's a decent rewatchable movie. Like overall, yeah. I would consider this. If I would consider this over, I would prefer to have this over Matchstick Men if we were gonna need to fill something in.
Okay. Actually, we'll do. This is the pod, and we're talking live. Let's add it in. Let's take off Matchstick Men. I will take that.
And put A Good Year.
Yeah, I will agree with you there, especially when we're comparing films that you go, whoa, Ridley Scott made that. This is another one that's like that. It just kind of proves that he makes what he wants to make, and he goes all in on whatever he's doing, whether it's Thelma and Louise, Matchstick Men, A Good Year, or Blade Runner,
or Gladiator 2.
Yeah,
or the director's cut of A Piece of Shit. Hey, the story of A Good Year. Failed London banker Max Skinner. What a great name, Max Skinner. Yeah. Inherits his uncle's vineyard in Provence, where he spent many childhood holidays. Upon his arrival, he meets a woman from California who tells Max she is his long-lost cousin and that the property is hers.
Which is a interesting take from Letterboxd to say that in the description.
Yeah, well, what I like about that description, it doesn't give a whole heck of a lot of away. And I don't want to give anything else away either.
It is making a claim that she says the property is hers, where she never once makes that claim.
True.
She does
details.
We won't give away the details. You should watch the movie. But this would be me
Watch it for Marion Cotillard, by the way.
That description is not entirely correct of what's in the film. If you're taking a literal take of what is said, and that's
unless it's the director's cut. Hey, also starring Abby Cornish. I think it's one of the first films I've seen her in. But Marion Cotillard, the beautiful, extraordinary, one of the best actresses of all time.
Yep. Little occasional shots of his uncle as well. Trying to think.
Albert Finney.
Yeah, Finney.
And just the location where the vineyard and the winery that it's shot in, like the estate, it is so gorgeous.
Yeah.
Great story.
Infinitely,
I wouldn't say infinitely rewatchable, but one of his more rewatchable dramas for sure.
Yeah, or if you're wondering what's a Ridley Scott film that your significant other might like of the female persuasion.
Oh,
if you're dating, married, or anything.
Yeah, look, this would definitely. There might be one or two more down the road.
Yeah.
Oh, which I'm looking at. There's a couple more I definitely want to get into the 7. All right, let's keep moving.
Yeah.
2007, American Gangster.
I would like
Have you seen
to hear you talk about it, because I don't think you and I have talked about it.
No,
I've definitely seen it. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I saw it in theaters. I think I did see it in theaters. This is pre me coming to Australia. This is 2007. I came in 2009. So height of my, this is the year I graduated, actually.
Hard year to release a film with all of the other classics that came out.
Yeah. And that is maybe where, because I don't consider it an incredible movie.
Nor do I on so many different levels. But so American Gangster is loosely based on the criminal career of Frank Lucas, a gangster from LaGrange, North Carolina, who smuggled heroin into the United States on American service planes returning from the Vietnam War before being detained by a task force led by Newark detective Richie Roberts, played by Russell Crowe.
Yeah, it's a good cast.
I think this film would have been so much better directed by Spike Lee.
And totally. That's a great take.
Even keeping the same exact cast.
Totally.
It just fell flat. Like the story was good. The acting was absolutely phenomenal. But there was just something about the pacing for me that it just didn't get my interest as much as and I think Spike Lee could have just done something a little bit more for me.
I mean, this is more of Spike's zone than Ridley's zone.
I think so. For me. That's what I would be interested in the Spike Lee director's cut of America's Gangster.
Yeah.
Hey, but we're starring Denzel Washington, Russell Crowe, Josh Brolin.
Yeah. Cuba
of
Gooding
Sicario
Jr.
fame.
Yeah. John Ortiz, John Hawkes. Yeah.
The RZA. Yeah. Idris Elba.
Yeah.
Common. Boom.
You like Common?
For me, that's a no on the 7.
Yeah,
but it's a good movie. It's one of those that
it's not a definitive Ridley Scott.
Hey, what if Spike Lee directed this? Could have been challenging No Country for Old Men and There Will Be Blood. Next up, The Body of Lies.
I've watched this a few times. This was another one that seemed to be on, like I said, TV a lot.
Recently, you've seen it?
Not recently, but still in Australia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I definitely have. I've seen it in Australia. I've probably seen it a couple times. I've only given it 3 stars.
Yeah. It's. I think we're both at 3 stars on Letterboxd. It's not a horrible film. It's not an amazing film. I wouldn't say it's the best of anybody. Like it's not the best outing for anyone. Yeah.
Hey, but here's the thing about it is that if you're if you're into CIA thrillers and spy and espionage, then I definitely would recommend this.
Yeah.
Those don't happen to be the kind of films I'm interested in. Synopsis for this: the CIA's hunt is on for the mastermind of a wave of terrorist attacks. Roger Ferris is the agency's man on the ground, moving from place to place, scrambling to stay ahead of ever-shifting events. An eye in the sky, a satellite link watches Ferris. At the other end of that real-time link is Russell Crowe, also known as CIA's Ed Hoffman, strategizing events from thousands of miles away. And as Ferris Bueller nears the target, he discovers trust can be just as dangerous as it is necessary for survival. Hey, look, it's okay. Again, if we were doing 2 weeks with Ridley, we might have this in there, but not in the first week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shout out Leo.
You would put it in 14 days? Is that what you just said?
I would put it in 14 days.
Why do you reckon 14 days?
Well, because out of all of the films that he has gone with, because once we determine what our 7 are, if we were to look at the remaining films, I would say that it would be in the top 7 of the remaining films after the 7 that we do.
Would you include Body of Lies over Matchstick Men?
Oh, I'd have to ponder that a bit. Right now, my initial reaction is I'd flip a coin between those two. That's about how I think of both of them. Depending on what my mood was. Like if I was in, because Body of Lies is a little more action, and a Matchstick Man's a little more psychological.
Yeah, if you're into Tom Clancy movies, you watch Body of Lies. It's somebody that, if you like the CIA espionage, spy movie, it's a Tom Clancy style movie.
Now we're going to move on to the next film, which is I don't know why this film got made, honestly. Ridley Scott's version of Robin Hood.
He does really like Russell Crowe.
Russell Crowe. Like I don't understand. I think look, this isn't me. I'm not going to turn this into the Russell Crowe bashing hour, but I might turn it into the Russell Crowe bashing minute. He's okay. I just don't. I don't understand the infatuation. Like with Martin Scorsese with Leo, get that. With De Niro, get that. PTA with Daniel Day-Lewis, I get that. Russell Crowe's like, man, here's the thing. It's like, what was the last really great Russell Crowe movie that you saw? Like, I know that you like The Nice Guys, but
but I don't
good
like
actors.
I don't like it because of Russell. Do I? I don't know.
When Soldier Robin.
That's definitely interesting, though, that you go, what's the last best Russell Crowe movie? Because if you kind of like look on Letterboxd for popularity, do you know what number 2 is?
I wouldn't have the first clue.
Thor. Love and Thunder.
Because he was Odin, right?
And then do you know what number 3 is?
Thor.
No, The Nice Guys.
Yeah.
So, but it is.
So obviously Gladiator's number 1.
Dude, Letterboxd. I mean, because this is go by popularity, so this is not Letterboxd doing it. This is people that use Letterboxd rating movies and putting them up there. Yeah,
but this is what I mean.
A Beautiful Mind is number 5 with Thor, Nice Guys, and Man of Steel ahead of it.
But this is what I mean. This is like why we want to do an episode on Ridley, is because that people that listen to podcasts are probably of the generation that use Letterboxd a little more often, and they might not be more familiar with some of these works. Yeah. And then some young people may have the same exact taste that I do and be like, oh, well, Russell Crowe, he's okay. Just think he's a little overrated. I just think that Russell Crowe's a little overrated. I don't hate him. I don't like, he does not disgust me, but I can't think of any films that he's been in that I would have to like, that I couldn't live without. And I think that sometimes he's put onto that pedestal. Obviously Ridley Scott really enjoys working with him. Which is good for him. But it's just not winning over my consumer dollars to go check that shit out. Hey, back to Robin Hood. When soldier Robin of Locksley happens upon the dying Robert of Locksley, he promises to return the man's sword to his family in Nottingham. Like, what is this, fucking King Arthur?
Yeah.
There he assumes Robert's identity, romances his widow, Marion, and draws the ire of the town sheriff and King John's henchman, Godfrey. Now, it does not make me happy to disrespect a film that stars Cate Blanchett or Max von Sydow.
Yeah.
Or Mark Strong.
That's true.
Or Matthew McFadden as from Succession as the Sheriff of Nottingham. Like I just man, why did this have to be a Robin Hood film? Like, man, he could have made an original film about something else. But that's Hollywood for you. No, it has to be Robin Hood. If it takes place in the same, here's the thing: I bet that people write original screenplays, they turn it in, and then you got somebody's like, how can I turn this into IP? Oh, it takes place in the same general time frame and same general part of the world as Robin Hood. Let's make it a Robin Hood story. And then we'll change some of the story around until it becomes like you got all the same characters. What is different about this than Kevin Costner's Robin Hood, which like even though that was like Hollywood popcorn movie, for me was infinitely better than this. Like Robin Hood by Kevin Costner's Robin Hood, man, charming but fierce. And like Robin Hood, it like should be like merry and bloody charismatic, and Russell Crowe was it's kind of like casting Daniel Craig as James Bond. They were trying to go that route because Daniel Craig is perfect as James Bond. So, but they want to turn Robin Hood into like a gritty, bloody tough guy. Oh, come on, man. Whatever.
Yeah.
I give it 3.5, but I'm kind of second guessing myself.
Well, instead of watching this Robin Hood, you should watch Mel Brooks's Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Oh yeah, Men in Tights. Well, I do happen to agree with you. All right.
Yeah, I know.
So I think we're going to leave Robin Hood off of
That's correct.
off of the list. Next up, 2012, Prometheus.
This is included.
Well, here's what I'm saying. Like, because it's an alien movie.
Yeah.
Do we want our week with Ridley Scott to feature 3 alien films? We can. But I kind of just think that, like with Alien, that it would just sort of stand in for all 3 of the Alien films. But we can make that call. Let's make the call at the very end if we need.
We'll make it at the end, but have it there for now.
Hey, look, Alien Prometheus, it did not get received well, but I think it has gotten more appreciation over the years. For me, it is the #1 film in the franchise. I love this movie. It is one of my most rewatched movies of the 21st century. I could just put this film on almost in any mood, and there's not a lot of films like that. Man, I like this so much. I like the themes that it tackles. Man, it talks about artificial intelligence. It talks about life or originating beyond Earth. It talks about the mysteries of creation. It's not a slam bam straight up action horror movie, but it's got elements of it. It's extremely intelligent. The basis of the story: a team of explorers discover a clue to the origins of mankind on Earth, leading them on a journey to the darkest corners of the universe. There, they must fight a terrifying battle to save the future of the human race. Again, like the Letterboxd description is a little misleading overall, but like at least gives you a taster of what you're in for. Starring Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, Guy Pearce, again, Idris Elba, Logan Marshall Green, Sean Harris. Oh my God, I love Sean Harris. Benedict Wong, who will reprise in his next film after this as well. I love Prometheus so much. Like if we were only going to have one Alien film, this would actually be my first choice to have over the original. But how about we'll save that for some negotiating at the very end. I love this movie so much, and can't say enough about it. What do you think about Alien Prometheus?
This is a favorite. Same of, I guess overall as a movie, it's probably my favorite of the franchise. Without maybe talking about Alien, the first one, because that's iconic. But I tend to, this is the one that's probably the most rewatchable for me. Of the Alien movies. We have a thing for Fassbender.
Yeah, for sure. And he's he is so excellent in that role. I said I didn't really care for Guy Pearce or Charlize Theron in this so much. Oh, I should say that I didn't care for them, but they weren't the MVPs. Yeah. Where in other films they are the MVPs.
Yeah.
That's just the way that it rolls sometimes, and that's okay. All right.
This is a good. If you're going to do a dual movie night, I feel like you would throw this up against Arrival. That would be a good. This is a good.
Totally.
A good second option to Arrival.
Totally. Like it's modern. It's got a modern aesthetic. Both have gorgeous cinematography. They both tackle some "Are we alone in the universe" themes.
One's more horror.
Totally. one's a little bit more horror, and one's a little more feminine.
Yes,
and in the best way. All right, next up, 2013's The Counselor. For me, I have to have this in.
A misunderstood movie.
I have to have this in.
I agree.
Cool.
Yeah.
And here's the, so Ridley says the director's cut is the superior version of Kingdom of Heaven, of which I say whatever. But when Ridley says that he thinks that one of his absolute best films is The Counselor, I have to agree with him. Like, this is so underrated. So underrated. I don't understand why people don't love this movie. It is so, man, it is so good.
Well, I mean, even if you're comparing to like big pick stats, Fantasy loves it and Naaman doesn't, which is interesting that we would be anti-Naaman on this film.
No, well, something, like I find myself at odds with Naaman quite often, although I tend to agree with a lot of his things. And when he gives something a high rating, I definitely check it out. I respect his opinion. But I think maybe he is a little more, he's opposed to something that I'm not opposed to.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I don't know what that is. But I love this movie. I love it a lot. The synopsis is pretty simple. A lawyer finds himself in far over his head when he attempts to get involved in drug trafficking. Again, starring Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, and probably her best, man, it's one of her best roles.
Yeah, which
it's
is
certainly probably one of her, it's probably her best dramatic role. I did enjoy her turn in Vanilla Sky, but this, like, she's better in this than Vanilla Sky. My goodness. Javier Bardem, Brad Pitt, Rosie Perez, man, Natalie Dormer, and very briefly, it is. Oliver Stone put out Savages like a year before, and I think it wanted to be what this ended up being because it wasn't very good. And like maybe that people thought it was good, but it was backlash to how bad Savages was, that people didn't climb on board to this one. Or maybe because 2013, it just kind of felt like people weren't interested in movies as much that year for some reason. I don't know, but I can't say enough. Like, man, this is for all the films that are going to make the week with Ridley Scott, like, this is the one that I'd want to recommend the most. I love it.
I think this would be a good watch with No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, particularly on several different ways, because you could see the evolution of Javier, but because of what it is and sort of comparing the desire for power and money and access to that through drugs, and like what the cost of that is, and that depending on what characters you're rooting for, there may not be a happy ending. Yeah, but yeah, I'd call that a good double feature for sure.
Well, let's keep her in the 7.
All right. Next up.
Exodus, Gods and Kings, 2014.
This is in the running for the worst film of all time for me. It's up there with Bloody Battlefield Earth.
Oh.
Like it between man, I could put some other ones in there, but like right now, because we're talking about this is I detest this movie. I had to give it a star so people didn't think that I just wasn't giving it a rating. I gave it a half star. I fucking hate this movie so much.
But it's got Ben Kingsley.
Look, so first off, Exodus, Gods and Kings.
Yeah,
it says that it's about Moses, the defiant leader Moses. Man, who would ever describe Moses as the defiant leader Moses? It sounds like something I would really be into. But man, like, first off, okay, the defiant leader Moses, which just something ain't right about that, rises up against the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses, setting 400,000 slaves on a monumental journey of escape from Egypt and its terrifying cycle of deadly plagues. I don't even know where to begin on how much I hate this fucking movie. But I'll start with Christian Bale, and I'll double down with Joel Edgerton. Which, by the way, in Train Dreams, dude, he would get my Oscar vote right now
we're
for
not
Best Actor for this year.
anti-Edgerton, but yeah, this is a
I don't also
steaming
not
pile of dog
anti-Christian
shit.
Bale, but I'm anti-Exodus Gods and Kings and their performances. Look, and I'm not trying, like, one of the things I don't like about Ridley Scott's historic epics, and I love Amadeus, and Amadeus is not written in German or Italian or Austrian or Czech, or it's in English. I get it. It's still one of my favorite movies. But these days, I tend to like my movies to have the language in the movie of in the country of which it's supposed to be representing. So I would have preferred some Egyptian actors for sure. And I would have preferred some Egyptian dialogue and this being subtitles. That would have cured a lot of this. But we got to hire white-ass Christian Bale to play Moses, which just further perpetuates the idea that fucking Moses was white. How do we not? Like, dude, I just don't believe that historically, archaeologically, any way you want to look at it, that Moses was like Anglo-Saxon white. He would not have looked like he was born in England or Norway. He would have looked like he was born in the fucking Middle East because he was. And the same with Joel Edgerton. Come on, you couldn't get a fucking Egyptian to play instead of this fucking white Australian? White Australian as the Pharaoh? Dude, I don't care. This is slack as fuck. The story sucks. It's not biblical. And even if it was, I'm not opposed to heretic talk, but man, like, dude, at least if you're gonna make something that's not faithful to the Old Testament version,
Yeah.
then man, hire somebody different to write this shit. But this was absolutely fucking horrible. And then on top of all of that, well, first off, Christian Bale couldn't have looked any less interested. I'm sure that this was a paycheck movie. He's like, I shouldn't be Moses.
Yeah.
And Joel Edgerton was like, man, I'm going to be in a Ridley Scott movie. You could tell, like, he was enjoying the shit out of himself, man. Like, but the CGI in this movie was some of the worst I've ever seen in a film ever. Like, I'm surprised that the Letterboxd average is 2.5 and not 0.5. I don't see what redeeming qualities that people have in this fucking thing.
Well,
fucking
yeah,
Christ,
this was the same year as Darren Aronofsky's Noah, and there was this was 2014. This was the year where Hollywood was for some reason trying to make some biblical epics, and man, we're both swings and misses.
Fucking hell! All right,
if you're gonna watch something that's not historically accurate or but like you said, if you want to go for better written, that even just go for heresy instead, watch The Last Temptation of Christ. Don't watch Gods and Kings.
Yes, please. Like, it's such a perfect example. It's not what most churches would want you to see. Oh God. But enough. Everybody knows I hate this movie so much.
Not included in a week with Ridley.
All right. Next up, a movie that I love, actually. So he went from one of the worst movies of all time to one of the best movies of all time.
He is always on a swing set.
My
Ridley.
God, isn't he? Or seesaw. I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
Ridley, get off the playground. The Martian, 2015, starring Matt Damon. And we're only going to, because he plenty of other good cast members in this, but Matt Damon carried. This is Matt Damon's
carry the whole film.
This is better than Good Will Hunting. This is Matt Damon's best film. During a manned mission to Mars, astronaut Mark Watney is presumed dead after a fierce storm and left behind by his crew. But Watney has survived and finds himself stranded and alone on the hostile planet. With only meager supplies, he must draw upon his ingenuity, wit, and spirit to subsist and find a way to signal to Earth that he is alive. Man, I cannot say enough about how much I love this movie. It is emotional. It is thrilling. It is suspenseful. It illustrates what happens when the best of humanity works together towards common goals and common interests instead of fighting against each other. Like this, man, I love this movie. Obviously I loved it. I drafted it. Man,
It's good.
I can't say enough. I would have this on our week with Ridley Scott.
Yeah, I knew you would want to include it. I'm indifferent. Like I like the movie. It's a great movie. It's a great Matt Damon film. You famously tend to like anything that is space based. So this would be sci-fi without being Star Wars.
Yeah, totally.
So
not like fantasy.
This tends to this subject matter sometimes tends to interest you more than me. Sometimes I have to be in the right mood for me to then love the film. So I go, this is a great film, love the film, blah blah blah. But I would only watch it when I'm in the mood for a good sci-fi.
So would you say like an Amber Alert for this one? Let's not automatically green it. Let's keep it debatable.
I think it probably needs to be included, but I'm impartial. So for me, it would be a yellow because I'm impartial, but it probably does belong with Sir Ridley's week with.
Cool. All right. So next up, we've got the sequel to Prometheus, Alien Covenant. So Sir Scott's third foray into the Alien franchise, and probably the nail in the coffin. And I don't know, man, this is another thing I don't understand. Dude, this is a killer movie. It is killer. And it did not resonate, and people still shit talk it. Like I just don't understand what the problem, I really honestly, I don't get why people don't like this movie. I just don't. Whereas Alien Romulus did really well. I don't know. I loved Alien Romulus, but I loved Alien Covenant more. The crew of the colony ship Covenant, bound for a remote planet on the far side of the galaxy, discovers what they think is an uncharted paradise. The way they discovered this, by the way, was a broadcast of Rocky Mountain High by John Denver. Or was it Take Me Home, West Virginia? One of them John Denver top 2 hits. Discover what they think is an uncharted paradise, but it is actually a dark, dangerous world. Michael Fassbender reprising his role, Billy Crudup, Danny McBride, Carmen Ejo. Man, again, I loved this. I love the world building of it. I loved that what this franchise was aiming for. For Ridley, it was becoming more about behind the scenes, where it seemed like everybody was always tackling it as a horror thriller suspense, and when is the alien going to make its appearance? And here the alien was kind of more of a character, and it wasn't meant like it just had this sort of totally different vibe to it. It just felt like a new genre almost that he was attempting to do. Yeah. But again, I think that for me, I'd like to only include one of the Alien, but if we're going to include more than one, I'd want to include all three, because I think that all three of his Alien movies are fantastic, and I'd have a hard time picking which one it should be. So I think we just pick one and let that represent the Alien IP.
Well, and I came late to the franchise. You kind of sold me on it. I had seen Prometheus when it was released, but outside of that, didn't really know I knew the Alien series as films, and friends had all watched them and stuff, but I never really watched them. And the lower ratings on this one spooked me from it. So this is one I hadn't seen, but knowing the cast of having Fassbender, Billy Crudup, Danny, watch it because it's got Danny McBride.
Totally. In a dramatic role.
So side question, because I haven't seen it, but I have seen Prometheus, and I see on the cast, it's got Fassbender. Is it a reprised role?
It is a reprised role.
Yeah. So I'm hands down watching this movie.
It's a reprised role and a new role because because he plays an android. He plays the newest model of the android.
Cool.
Oh yeah, dude. Fassbender's worth the price of admission for sure.
Yeah. This will be one of my next watches.
Yeah, right on. All right. Next up, we've got All the Money in the World.
This movie entirely escaped me. I actually didn't know it existed.
I didn't either until very recently.
Until we decided we were going to do a week with Ridley Scott. And
same with me.
And guess what? I still chose not to watch it on purpose.
I did as well. I had access to watch it yesterday, and I'm like, Kingdom of Heaven sucked all the life out of me.
Yeah.
All the Money in the World is a story of the kidnapping of 16-year-old John Paul Getty III.
Yeah, famous story.
And the desperate attempt by his devoted mother to convince his billionaire grandfather, Jean Paul Getty, to pay the ransom. That just the poster alone was there's nothing about this that interests me at all. I love Michelle Williams.
Yeah.
I love her, and I love Mark Wahlberg, but there's nothing about this that I find remotely interesting.
It's got
So
if Christopher Plummer.
If somebody wants to give me a reason why I should watch it, I would love to hear the argument for it, and I can be convinced, but not off of the information I currently have available. So that'll be a healthy scratch.
Yeah, agreed.
Next up, The Last Duel.
This movie, 2021 release, so it was a semi-COVID film, post-COVID film. Theaters were really only just showing movies again, at least where we were in Australia.
Yeah,
I'd watched this one in cinemas on purpose. I was looking forward to it. I like the kind of the historical knights and shining armor and fighting and Robin Hood-y type movies and stuff. This movie did not get amazing love upon release in cinemas or even make that much money. And I think I would like to hear you kind of respond to what I'm about to say, because here's some of my thoughts maybe around that. A lot of what felt like the feedback for the film that I was around, or at least heard of low ratings, people not liking it, blah, blah, blah. Oh, why are we amplifying this kind of story? And it seemed to be part of an era where we were still really loving in society, in Hollywood, the cancel culture era. And also the whole, how do I tiptoe around it? Believe women, and also women versus men.
Yeah.
And I feel like this film was misrepresented and misunderstood because if you haven't seen it, this might be a spoiler, give it away. It deals with a rape.
Now here's yes. All right. What I'll say is that I would like to get a woman's like if we could find for a future episode a woman that has seen this film.
Mrs. B has seen this film and it made her uncomfortable.
That feels strongly about the subject material and could answer like more directly. But I kind of concur with you that obviously that in 2021 when this film was released, I would say that okay, the film is about rape. You're alienating a certain audience.
Yeah.
But but you're also right that that's misread, is because this film's actually given the woman a voice. Like, here's the difference. In 1980, this film doesn't have the woman's point of view. It doesn't consider what the woman thinks.
Totally.
The reality is that in this world, and this historical world that was real, but this is the kind of shit that happened. And I think this movie is marvelous for several different reasons. And I only have one bad thing to say about it, and everything else is phenomenal. Like this is a really good movie. I would like to include it in our week. But like the brilliance of this story is that it gives us the woman's perspective.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not someone agrees or like, oh my God, like it's about rape and la 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 la. Yes. You know what? If we're going to talk about history, we're going to talk about rape. If we're going to talk about history, we're going to talk about genocide. If we're going to talk about like, what, now the zone of interest sucks because Jews died in it? Come the fuck on, man. No, I won't listen to that shit. I just won't. I absolutely won't. Bullshit. I'm going to go picket on the sidelines of everybody that wants to shut shit down because it doesn't agree with their particular worldview. Bad things happen in the real world. At least this is giving voice to the woman and gives more insight to the suffering and the lack of autonomy and zero decision.
Yeah,
and
where we came from as society.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's wonderful for that. It's wonderfully acted, except for Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Agreed. but he's almost so bad he's good. Does that make sense? Do you remember?
It does.
I automatically, the moment we say Ben Affleck and I say The Last Duel, I can already re-see the scenes in my head. That's how bad they are. But to the point to where you go, did you do that on purpose? Because that's weird.
Have you seen the behind the scenes? I think it was either from Dogma or Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. There's like the sort of blooper reel.
A long time ago.
that does the Goodwill Hunting
Yes.
scene,
Yeah.
and it has the Harvard dude saying, "How do you like dem apples?" And then Ben Affleck's like, "Oh my God, how do I like them? I don't know how to answer this. I don't know how I like them apples." I'm like, this is the version of Ben Affleck in The Last Duel, is this whiny fucking Goodwill Hunting dude. Like, oh my God, like it's a farce of a farce of a farce. I don't know if it was intentional, but you're right. It's so bad it's good, but it's also so bad that it's the weakest point of the movie.
Yeah.
But like, if you can find a way to look at that it's so bad it's good, then I would opt for taking that decision.
Yeah.
Overall, so the story of the movie, King Charles declares that Knight Jean de Carew settles his dispute with a squire, Jacques Legree, by challenging him to a duel. We get both men's version of events. And then we get the woman who's at the center of the crisis. We get her version of events, and all three have these exceptional moments where it's like, oh, you almost feel for every single character in this, including Adam Driver. Like, at some point you feel something for him. I won't say that you feel something good for him, but you definitely feel something for him.
Well, yeah. I mean, to further. We did kind of give away plot of the film and spoilers and stuff. The film, like we said, gives both aspects, both stories, and the movie is literally chopped into two. It is his perspective and her perspective, and reshot from their side of it.
I enjoyed Matt Damon in this a lot. And I can't, kind of like Russell Crowe, he doesn't have a lot of current films that I'm really jacked on, but next up, a film that I haven't seen, but I know that you have and enjoyed.
Sorry, did we decide what to do with this film?
I would have it in, personally.
You would have it in. So would I. I didn't think you would.
Yeah, for sure.
So I guess I'm pleasantly surprised. I would keep it in. And partially because of what we were talking about of the, what would you call it? The controversy around the film, if you want to call it a controversy, which it shouldn't be.
Yeah, probably one of the more
I would have said a
controversial
follow-up because it was released in 2021 and like we said, didn't do well in cinemas, but a lot of movies weren't doing well in cinemas because people are only just going back to see movies. But I would say upon streaming and post 2021, it's gotten, people have kind of changed their tune of a lot of the reviews and ratings and stuff on it are, it's a pretty good film. Because it is.
I concur. All right, next up. Same year, House of Gucci. When Patricia Reggiani, an outsider from humble beginnings, marries into the Gucci family, her unbridled ambition begins to unravel the family legacy and triggers a reckless spiral of betrayal, decadence, revenge, and ultimately, ... murder.
Murder.
I've not seen this film.
You still haven't seen it?
No. I don't plan on seeing it.
Well, I mean, I watched it in cinemas twice. This
has something that you love and something I detest, and that's okay. I can tell that I would hate this movie. I can look at a still image and there's just nothing about the fashion industry. It would not matter. The only way I'd watch this story is if there was a director's cut, David Lynch's director's cut of House of Gucci. I'd watch that.
Well, so so you haven't seen it, would never watch it, so I assume you don't want to include it. I did really enjoy it. I did really like it.
Hey, look, if you want to include it, I'm happy to debate it. We'd have to remove something else.
It's another weird one where you go, Ridley Scott made this. This would be a movie where I would at least say, because I understand why a lot of people didn't like it. Maybe the casting for part of it. Maybe the bad accents for some of the actors. Maybe that it is all in English. But I would say watch it for Jared Leto. He's probably the best part of the movie.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And those who have seen it would know what I'm talking about. But for me, I'm happy to not necessarily argue it, knowing his filmography, to put it in there.
It's got a 2.9 Letterboxd rating.
Controversially, average. I would potentially put it in. but we don't have to. So I would maybe sideline it for now for a yellow and see where we come up with 7. I have a feeling it's going to lose. I have a feeling it's going to lose out in the long run of 7 movies.
Do you know who Paul Schrader is?
Yeah.
Paul Schrader is the screenwriter, for the audience members that don't know who Paul Schrader is. I follow him on Letterboxd, and he is the writer of Taxi Driver. And he's directed a bunch of great films.
He's written a lot of great films.
Now, his review of House of Gucci
Oh.
is like, there's a great new must-see category this season. The genre, the category being more fun than guilty sex. My top 2 choices: House of Gucci and Benedetta.
And what?
Benedetta, which is a Paul Verhoeven film about lesbian nuns. So I can't tell whether or not that I don't know what the tone of that is, but he didn't give a star rating, so I'm assuming he probably didn't like it a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, he did write The Last Temptation of Christ.
Okay.
And Raging Bull.
We are up to now another film that I haven't seen, Napoleon, starring Joaquin Phoenix. I know that you saw this in the theater. What'd you think?
I watched it with Mrs. B. It was entertaining. It was another one of his kind of epics. I enjoyed it. A lot of people did not. If I were to choose this over like a Gladiator, it would have to be Gladiator. I'm glad it was made. There's not a lot of amazing Napoleon movies out there. I think a lot of people would say,
is he really that important to talk about?
Well, I think for modern democracy and war and yeah.
I think a little over. I think Napoleon's overrated. I think Napoleon's importance in history is overrated.
See, but I think he's a great in conversation with somebody like a Donald Trump kind of figure, to be honest.
Well, maybe like short man's complex. Yeah, maybe.
That's what I'm saying. And that was it seems a lot of Napoleon's ego gets in the way of.
Right on. Napoleon, the story, an epic that details the checkered rise and fall of French, not Italian, French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte, and his relentless journey to power through the prism of his addictive, volatile relationship with his wife, Josephine. I heard that it was a little risque with the sort of exploring the sexual appetites of the Bonapartes.
Yeah, it was, and it fit.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll watch that eventually.
Yeah. I mean, it was,
Are we putting it in? I've not seen it, so
yeah.
But if
I mean,
is it in conversation?
Okay, I mean, for instance, is it this or House of Gucci? They're their own things. So it couldn't be both of them on this. Yeah, it couldn't be both of them. Which one would you choose? Yeah, I don't know.
All right. Let's next up is Gladiator 2, the sequel to the original, a legacy sequel. Years after witnessing the death of the revered hero Maximus at the hands of his uncle, Lucius is forced to enter the Colosseum after his home is conquered by the tyrannical emperors, who now lead Rome with an iron fist. With rage in his heart and the future of the empire at stake, Lucius must look to his past to find strength and honor to return the glory of Rome to its people. I didn't think this movie was very good.
Yeah, I was looking at your rating here, and I guess I don't remember you giving it 2.5 stars. Did you change your mind, or was it always 2.5?
It was always 2.5.
I thought it worked as a standalone film. I didn't mind it as an addition to the story.
Hey, you know what?
Denzel's the best part of the movie.
He is, but man, all right. This movie is not, okay, I'll say this. I know that I've talked well because I've talked about Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
Because he got sort of murdered, but it's not his fault. He acted the lines that he was given. He acted on, and Ridley Scott, go back to all of the interviews with Harrison Ford, that Ridley Scott is not an actor's director. He doesn't give direction to his actors, and some actors want a lot of direction.
He really lets them embody their roles and
flesh it out. And maybe he just wasn't experienced enough at this point in his career. But either way, it is not Paul's fault that this movie was fucking horrible. It was Ridley Scott's. And but Denzel was the draw of the show. But all right, Pedro Pascal, that whole entire narrative. Are you fucking kidding me, man? Like, it was a waste of a great actor to have this sort of substitute vanilla plot. And then that stupid scene with the fucking sharks in the Coliseum.
Yeah,
man, that would be
that was the nail in the coffin for anybody that didn't like the movie.
It really was. Like, dude, even if I had thought that the rest of it was really good, that was enough to sink it like into the bloody depths of the Atlantic.
I watched it like that didn't exist. That scene,
but it does. It's kind of like if we're talking about Tron Ares, it's like, oh, would this movie be as good if it didn't have the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack? But it does. So it's better, even if you look at it as a Nine Inch Nails video. Then it's worth watching because it does have that score. And so by the same token, then but this movie does have that bullshit shark scene. So like you can't erase it. How about a director's cut with the fucking losing that scene? How about a shorter fight? Like, dude, the director's cut of Gladiator 2 that's only like 10 minutes long. But okay, that's the director's cut I fucking want from Ridley Scott. Fucking cut 99% of this fucking movie out of existence. Didn't like it at all. I wouldn't include it.
Wouldn't include it.
No. Okay, so that leaves us for some decision making here. So
totally,
I think we have 9 films in consideration. So I think that automatically we have to consider that only one Alien movie can be represented.
Yeah.
For me, I would pick Prometheus.
I'm going to agree with you then. That's not having seen Covenant.
That's okay. I would venture that you would still prefer Prometheus, but I think you will really enjoy Covenant. It's not a big action suspense thriller. It's more of a philosophical meditation with some action elements.
Yeah.
All right. Thelma and Louise is in.
Yep.
Now, I would not be opposed to trading out Gladiator for Napoleon or House of Gucci, even though I haven't seen either one of them.
No,
because I'm not a huge fan of Gladiator. So
understood, but it isn't. Those other films are not better than.
Okay. All right, so we got Gladiator.
Maybe when you see Napoleon, maybe you'll disagree with me. I agree that you won't like House of Gucci without you having seen it. But Napoleon next to Gladiator, I don't know what you would prefer.
I want you to feel heard, so I want you to know that I hear you. And if you want one of those to replace them. Okay, so next up, I think Black Hawk Down's definitely in.
Yeah.
We have a good year that we were kind of like, oh, Matchstick Man or a good year. Like, I would have a good year, but again, we can replace a good year with Napoleon or House of Gucci.
House of Gucci and Napoleon, I don't think is better than. I mean, Napoleon still might be an argument, depending on the mood that you're in, maybe. But I still like Matchstick Men and a good year more than Napoleon.
Right on. Next up, we have The Martian. And now again, because it's one that I picked and you weren't as high on because of the sci-fi aspect, I'd be willing to downgrade The Martian and promote Napoleon or House of Gucci over The Martian.
The Martian is better than both.
Okay.
So it can be in.
And then we've got The Last Duel.
Yeah.
Which I think we both want in.
Yeah. And The Last Duel should be in.
Okay. So that would leave us with... That would leave us with 7. The 7 being Prometheus, Thelma and Louise, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, A Good Year, The Martian, and The Last Duel.
We've skipped The Counselor.
Oh, we did.
So that's great. So now, but this is good because now we got to call one more.
We've got to call one to make real. My vote will be to call The Martian.
I would agree.
Okay. All right. So in chronological order, then we've got the first entry in our week.
Yeah. So let's give it chronologically, and then if we feel like we can, we could recommend maybe an order you should watch them in as an introduction to you as a first timer watching Ridley Scott movies.
Sure. So chronologically, our first entry is Thelma and Louise.
Yep.
Next up is Gladiator, followed very shortly by Black Hawk Down. Next up, we've got A Good Year. Then we've got quite a few years before we get back to The Counselor.
Yep.
Man, such an underrated gem.
Dude, it is.
And then,
it is.
And then lastly, 2021. We got Prometheus right before The Counselor, and then The Last Duel from 2021. So we're spanning 30 years of film history from 1991 to 2021.
Sorry. Did we skip Blade Runner?
Yep, we sure did. Daggone.
Good Lord.
I'm slack as shit.
A good thing, but that's why it's good to have two people. Hey. Oh.
Okay, so to get Blade Runner in there, we've got to call something.
Okay,
let's take Gladiator out.
I'm just looking.
Or A Good Year.
Yeah, but here's my only argument as the devil's advocate. We are pulling. I mean, besides Thelma, we're not really giving a different aspect to Ridley Scott on the softer side. I mean, and not that Thelma's softer, but I guess it's at least a different point of view.
Mm. Look, I would say we could just Blade Runner, it's his masterpiece.
It is his masterpiece. Yeah,
dude. I would be replacing him with Gladiator, dude. It's a Thelma Louise.
Yeah,
Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Black Hawk Down, A Good Year, Prometheus, The Counselor, and The Last Duel.
I guess
we cover his entire.
A semi-short but interesting question/conversation would be the fact that you do not like Gladiator so much so that for Sir Ridley Scott, that movie would not be included, and The Last Duel would over Gladiator for kind of like a historical.
Yeah, but you know what, some of the podcasts and personalities that we listen to, they've got a difference of personality. Like Big Picture put Lady Bird ahead of Mulholland Drive and Parasite.
Yeah,
sometimes these things happen. It's about our personality. Now, I would be happy to remove any of these other. I would not be happy to remove any of these films for Blade Runner, but Gladiator for me is that I feel about Gladiator the way that I feel about Dark Knight and Goodfellas, and I just think that they're think they're overrated. But I'm happy to negotiate any of these other films.
Yeah, man, that's where it's good to come up, I guess, with 7, because we're, a lot of these movies would go in. Do you want to replace
Black Hawk Down?
A lot of these movies would be in if it was, like we said, 14. No, it'd be included in 14. Well, there'd be a lot of movies from his filmography that would be included if there's 14. If it was considered a top 10, then
would you feel better?
Let me just finish the quick thought, though.
Yeah.
If it was 14, it would be included. If it was a top 10, it would probably be included. But if the series is called A Week With, which is trying to maybe teach AI or a child or somebody who doesn't watch movies as much, what would it be like to spend a week with this director to say who he is, what he's made, what he likes to do, and what he's known for? Would this be included or not included?
I get that. At the same time, it is, our personalities need to shine through. Now, here's what I'll say is, we could remove A Good Year and keep Gladiator.
Mm.
And then, I think that would fall. That just means that our list would be similar. Like if we tasked 100 people to do the 7 top films of Ridley Scott, that Gladiator would be near the top of 99% of the list. Yeah. Whereas I would propose, let's just drop the son of a bitch. But that's just me because it is on there because you love it.
Okay.
Or you have your feelings about it. So like, I'm not trying to drop it for that reason.
Well,
I just, A Good Year feels like the only other film that we could take off.
Well, let's keep A Good Year in and we'll pull off Gladiator. And I guess the reason why would be we do at least have The Last Duel in. And if we are introducing somebody to Ridley Scott and you've got movies like
they probably don't need an introduction to Gladiator.
Yeah. If you've got Gladiator, Gladiator 2, Robin Hood, The Last Duel, you have all of these historical epic fighting knight movies, different eras. You don't need to watch all of them to know that Ridley likes to make those kinds of movies. So why not include the better one as a whole story and acting and that whole sort of thing? And the argument would be The Last Duel is probably the best written, acted, directed film of them.
Yeah, totally. I'm down with that.
Yeah. Okay. So Blade Runner, Thelma and Louise, Black Hawk Down, A Good Year, The Counselor, Prometheus, and The Last Duel.
Boom.
And that is a week with Sir Ridley Scott.
The man.
The myth, the knight.
What my opinion would be is if, like, obviously we've given you the selections. For me, like, if you wanted to sort of craft a wave on which to ride some good momentum, here would be my recommended order for the list. I'd start with Thelma and Louise.
Me too. It's a good ease you into it.
Mm-hmm. I'd follow up with A Good Year. And I'll tell you why.
Go ahead.
Because we're moving from a kind of hot topic, bit of a crime action thriller before accelerating fully in. You give yourself, it's kind of like you've dipped your foot into the pool's really cold. You come back out and, sort of reset yourself to get back in. So then I'd follow that up with Black Hawk Down, get a little bit more intense, and then I'd go with The Last Duel.
Yeah,
and then because I want my top three: The Counselor, Prometheus, and Blade Runner. Yeah, I feel like now you're firmly in the zone. So I'd go The Last Duel for the psychological portion of it, and then I'd get into The Counselor. It's dangerous. Alien Prometheus, it is psychological and dangerous, and then follow up, save the best for last, and one of the greatest films ever made, Blade Runner.
I think that's a great order to watch them in. It's a great film selection. And I kind of do agree with the whole hitting the gas pedal, going 1 to 100. Maybe the last few could be interchangeable, but I do like actually the story arc or maybe the genre / theme change. You don't want them all stacked up next to each other.
But you might find that if you're a sci-fi heavy fan, is like, you might want to start with Alien. So
Prometheus.
Boom. Right on.
Well, Lord Marcus, thanks for calling into the podcast today. It's
Lord Dr. Sith Lord B. You are very welcome. My pleasure, as always.
It's been a hot minute, but I'm glad we could regather apart to talk about some of the things that we care about most, and that is cinema that's worth your time. And movies that are worth your time by some of the most widely known or more famous directors of probably the last few decades. We do the work for you because everybody knows that life is too short for bad cinema. Woof. Thank you for listening to today's episode. You can find us on our social media pages like Instagram under The Film Dogs or Facebook as Film Dogs. Today's episode was co-produced by your hosts Lord Marcus and Mr. B, and it was mixed and edited by Blurry Audio. Please let us know with comments and questions. What did we get right and what did we get wrong with A Week with Sir Ridley Scott? And until next time, thanks for listening.